maternal health.
Yes.
Why is that an important issue to you?
Brooklyn is the most dangerous place for a black woman to have a baby in New York City, which is not under my watch, right? I don't want to be in last place in anything. You know, that's not what I do. I want to lead from the front. But New York City is the richest city in the richest country in the world. And for us to have a maternal health problem at all is absurd. And the problem is that the policies and elected officials and the people that can actually change this from happening, they keep working at the margins. There'll be an announcement for $1 million for a maternity health unit here. There'll be, Medicaid now, instead of 3 months of mental health services for postpartum depression for pregnant women, is now going to go to a year. So everybody's like death by 1,000 paper cuts, right? Like by 1,000 cuts. It's just going a bunch of small things. That's not going to affect the change that we need. We're talking about black women dying at 9 times the rate as the white counterparts in Brooklyn. The work we're doing might bring it down to 8.4, 8.2. That's not satisfactory. So what I decided to do is use all my money, all my capital dollars 1 year, and build 3 state-of-the-art maternal health units in our 3 public hospitals in Brooklyn. Partly because the infrastructure is important, but 2, I want to bring attention to the issue. And I could have given $6 million and walked away and it'd be fine, but I gave $45 million in my entire capital budget in 1 year. I'm just trying to bring awareness to the issue and do more so that we could stop changing things at the margins and affect meaningful change in these women's lives.
So let me ask you about the politics of the decision, which is when you do that, on one hand, admirable, great, will yield real important results. At the same time, I imagine that the norm is you spread that $45 million as thin as you can, as far as you can, get everyone on the hook for something that they rely on you, and then they owe you and they need you. Absolutely. So all the people that relied on, the Marty Markowitz concert grants or whatever was, what'd you say to them, and how did you handle the fallout?
Yeah. So how do I say this? I just did what I thought was right, and I feel like my base, the people that elected me, give me that leeway. They give me that autonomy. They will vote for me again, even if the Brooklyn Museum didn't get the roof that year.
And by the way, let's just assume they didn't, but you knew you saved, hundreds of lives. Still a worthwhile trade-off.
I agree. If I can't sell saving black women's lives, it was the right thing to do to Brooklyn, then I don't want to be the borough president.
Right.
So I was fine with it. So politically, I wasn't worried. And then I got calls from a lot of the people that really need the money are the libraries, the Parks Department, and the CIGs, which are the cultural institutions. Mm-hmm. The cultural institutions, many of them are run by black women. And when they called me, and they're like, we do need this money for the roof. And it's like $3 million, but we'll call you next year. I got a lot of grace and a lot of support from Brooklyn. And I just really felt like the Brooklyn love. I was like, this is insane. No one's getting money, and they're all calling me to thank me for the work that I'm doing on maternal health. And then the next year, I did what I had to do and took care of the folks that were waiting.
I think to the extent that you can tell that story more widely, because a lot of your colleagues probably would like to be able to do things like this, but are too afraid of the political ramifications of it. And if they see that you were able to do it without getting the shit kicked out of you too badly, a little bit, but not too badly, then I think that generally will inspire, confidence in others.
Firewall is recorded at my bookstore, P&T Knitwear, located at 180 Orchard Street on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. We'd love to hear from you with questions, feedbacks, or idea for a guest. Just email me at bradley@firewall.media or find me on LinkedIn. And to keep up with what's on my mind and my latest writing, please follow my new Substack at bradleytusk.substack.com. Thanks again for listening.